I woke up today and Caleb Williams is at the top of his division. I woke up today and Bryce Young is at the top of his division. I woke up today and Drake May is at the top of his division. Now, I'm not going to be the guy like I predicted this, like I said this was going to happen. Um, but in fact, I'll own up to it. I did say the Jets had a chance to win the AFC East. That was me. Um, but we're big Drake Maye supporters over here for a multitude of reasons. Over here at Philly Talk with PA, we always keep it stacked. We always keep it a buck. When we look at the NFC North, JJ McCarthy, we don't know if he's gonna be that guy. Jared Goff, ultimate game manager. Once again, yesterday, not everything is perfect around him. He folds. Jordan Love, the ultimate roller coaster. We don't know which version of Jordan Love we're going to get. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams, time again this season, has proven to be the ultimate X factor. And for Packers fans that say Jordan Love went out, Malik Willis played sensational. Like, he was moving the ball up and down the field. Didn't have too many mistakes. I think people were saying the fumble that happened wasn't really his fault. I think the center, misjudged it. But it's not like the Chiefs where Mahomes goes out. Now you got Gardner Minshew. Like Malik Willis, like y'all Packers fans, y'all will put a man down just to prop another guy up. That's me. That's a little crazy. But right now, Caleb Williams, 28 total touchdowns, sitting at the top of his division. Big moment. DJ Moore, DMV to DMV. Shout out to bro. And Chicago, they're looking pretty. That's, once again, not going to say we predicted it, but we kind of saw this coming. Caleb Williams, by the end of the season, could very well turn out to be the best in this division. Clearly, it was not a crazy thing to say. And, there's another guy yesterday, outplayed, someone that, someone who I like, but his fan base sometimes is one of those fan bases that tries to put him in convos that he does not belong in yet. Up to this point in his career, Baker Mayfield went from 5-1 to 7-7 this season. Now 7-8. And for Bucks fans that want to say, for Bucks fans that want to say, well, we didn't have Mike Evans, we didn't have Ibuka, we didn't have the. If your guy is who he says he is who you say he is, he shouldn't need all-world talent every single time to get it done. Now, we've seen Jalen Hurts, we've seen Josh Allen, we've seen Lamar, we've seen Patrick Mahomes win Super Bowls with Kadarius Toney, Mecole Hardman, and Juju Smith-Schuster. So if your guy is who he says he is, he shouldn't need everything perfect around him to succeed. You shouldn't need Tyke Smith to be on the field at all times. Shouldn't need Vita Vea, Jamel Dean, other guys, Antoine Winfield. You shouldn't need, obviously you need those players to win, but in moments, if you're that guy, you elevate other players. Like, just look at how every receiver that leaves Kansas City looks in other offenses. Mecole Hardman goes to the Jets, gets 0 PT. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think went to the Patriots for like 1 year and was like, nah, this is not for me. Let me come back to KC. Kadarius Toney doesn't have a. Kadarius Toney could not make the Cleveland Browns roster. That should tell you enough. But this, on the other end, the guy we also predicted breakout season, Bryce Young. 22 total touchdowns. Doesn't, have the yards, flashing off the page, but he down the stretch, and I know the Panthers could easily be, what is it? Panthers could easily be 10-5 if and I'm a minute Tyler Shook. They're on a bit of a streak right now. The Saints, um, and he's playing pretty well. Rookie start. Obviously, when the entire fan base thinks that another guy should have been drafted over you, it's kind of tough. But Tyler Shook, we'll give credit. He's played well, solid. These last couple of games, but Bryce Young, you still get swept by the Saints in the span of 3 weeks. Don't know how that happens. Hopefully, this is not like a Tom Brady can't beat the Saints when he went to Tampa kind of thing. But Bryce Young yesterday, clutch time, big moments. Ted McMillan, that's offensive rookie of the year. It's done. See, there's no debate. Ted McMillan, certified. Carolina, they defensively they've gotten better, slightly like a middle of the pack defense. J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, those guys over there on the side, Mike Jackson. Carolina, they looking nice. They're looking nice. But Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, the two guys that, over here we said they will have a breakout season. Now look at them. Both winning their divisions and most likely will win their divisions with 2 weeks left to go. There was a game last night, and we'll talk about both quarterbacks, but I want to start with, the man, the myth, the TikTok legend, Drake. My wife makes salty chocolate chip cookies, May. Now, Drake Maye. First, I want to reiterate this real quick. Matthew Stafford is the MVP. 40 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Still has a chance to win the division. Like, Matthew Stafford is the MVP. Like, that's Josh Allen fan base. Just give it up. It's over. But Drake Maye. This man, in all likelihood, is going to have over 30 total touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. He played. This was probably, and Patriots fans probably knows more than me, but this was probably the second or third time. Yeah, this was probably the second or third time Drake Maye had been in an environment like that in Baltimore last night. Fans are going ruckus, playoff environment. The players, going wild on the sideline. They struggled early. But Derrick Henry, he's got a fumbling issue. Zay Flowers, he's entering Jag territory. He has a fumbling issue. When are people going to realize you can't turn back upfield when you catch a ball 5 yards in the middle of the field? You can't cut back, stand still, and not think the D lineman or the linebacker is going to be headhunting. And hold the ball out like this while you're trying to do something. As soon as he made the cutback, I saw Clavon Chason flashing up, and I was like, it's going to be a fumble. And what do you know? Like, Zay Flowers has a fumbling issue. This is now 2 times the Ravens season now has potentially ended on a Zay Flowers fumble. He has to figure this out because this is not acceptable. Ravens in totality, Lamar, it's getting to a point where everybody knows Lamar, at his best, like regular season, at least top 3, top 2 quarterback in the NFL. We know this, but it's too many times in the playoffs. It's too many times in games like this where you're just either not playing the best or you get hurt. And we say this, the best ability is availability. Ravens fans will, say, well, Lamar got injured against the Chiefs in whatever week that was, week 4. You were already down 27-10. Lamar had played terrible, 2 interceptions. And that excuse is invalid. Every time y'all lose in the play, when y'all lost to the Bengals in the playoffs, and you say Lamar was out, he was injured. The best ability is availability. So should the Bengals bench Joe Burrow because Lamar can't stay healthy? Should the Bills bench Josh Allen? Should the Patriots bench Drake Maye because Lamar can't stay healthy? Like, I don't know what Ravens fans want other teams to do. Like, when you're a guy, and yesterday's injury was, unlucky. I think the guy, like, kneed him as, like, the defender was sliding to try to avoid hitting him. Lamar slid. Defender's knee went right, I think it's his back or something. So, I mean, we hope, Lamar gets back at it, obviously, but the best ability is availability. Why do you think Eagles move off of Carson Wentz? Why do you think the Dolphins are about to move off of Tua? Like, there is a reason why. Why? Like, look at Jaden Daniels this year. The best ability is availability. And, that's why players like Tom Brady, that's why. Just look at Dak Prescott. We know Dak Prescott's, not a world beater when it actually matters. But for the most part, he stays healthy. He plays, consistent when there's no pressure. Like, he's a good quarterback when there's no pressure on him. There's no expectations. And we all know the moment expectations come, he'll fold. But look at him, look at Tony Romo. They're going to have a job for at least a decade and a half. That's just how it goes. Give the fans something to cheer for. That's I'm sorry, like, that's how the NFL works. I know a lot of people are confused and don't want it to, happen. But nevertheless, Drake Maye yesterday, clutch drive. I think it was like a 90-yard drive to win the game. Clutch gene. And last thing I'll say on this, Ravens might have to get a new voice. And we don't root for anybody to lose their job, but John Harbaugh, it is getting to a point, like, the Ravens as currently constructed are nowhere close to winning a Super Bowl. Marlon Humphrey holding for his life on that clutch drive. That should have been like a 40-yard pass interference. Nevertheless, Drake Maye, ball don't lie. They got it in the end zone. But, and people are going to say, like, Paul, you are a biased Michigan fan who wants John Harbaugh to get fired so he can come coach Michigan. No. The Ravens are not good. The defense, more times than not this season, has failed them. The offensive line is not very good. Y'all know how I feel about 77, Falafel. And he wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't like yesterday. He was, like, just letting guys just free rush. But the offensive line is not good. Derrick Henry, for some reason, just can't hold on to the ball this year. Zay Flowers still has a fumbling problem. Like, the Ravens are not, they're not a good football team. Like, it is, that's factual. That's not innuendo. More times than not, you are what your record says you are. And Ravens is not a good football team right now. But let's talk about who is a good football team. The Buffalo Bills, like, and this is a bit of preview. James Cook. For some reason, I think it's Joe Brady. Joe Brady at times forgets that he has a top 5 running back next to Josh Allen. Like, I feel like there are times when, like, the Josh Allen fan base just completely forgets about him. Like, this dude didn't carry the team to a win yesterday. And let's be clear, James Cook carried the Bills to a win yesterday versus, yes, the Browns have a top 2 defense, but this is the Cleveland Browns. Shador didn't play his best, but that offensive line is trash. But Josh Allen yesterday didn't look great. The line got after him. But, coming into this week, Jalen Carter's going to be back. Jordan Davis is on a heater. Now, Mason Graham, Michigan, heck of a player. That is a rookie. That is not Jalen Carter. That is not Jordan Davis. You got Jalen Phillips on the outside. You got Jalen Saint. You got Nolan Smith. And y'all already know how I feel about the need for our linebacker group to keep an eye on Josh Allen at all times because we know what he can do with his legs. But the Bills, the running game, you stop James Cook, you slow down James Cook. Now we know Khalil Shakir is going to have 0 catches this game, so we can just put that to the side. Tight ends are going to be big. Once again, can Zach Bond, if Nakobe, I don't think Nakobe's going to be able to go. Can Jahad Campbell, hog down on those? I don't know if Jeremiah Trotter is going to be available either. So maybe Smell Munden. Can those guys lock down on Jackson Hawes, Kincaid, Knox? Can those guys lock down the safety valves? And then, obviously, can you stop Josh Allen's legs? Will be the question. But we'll get more on that into the week. But there's the last thing I want to talk about because people were going at me yesterday on this, and it's first off, Lions fans, stop crying. It can't, every time something doesn't go your way, it doesn't mean the rules have to change, the refs can't call flags, blah, blah, blah. So, did the offensive line, did they or did they not false start? Did the offensive line, did they or did they not hold? Did Tesla, did he or did he not commit offensive pass interference? Bro, you committed the foul. Like, you want the refs to not call blatant penalties. Like, it really gets ridiculous. And it's kind of what Josh Allen's, following does. With every time something doesn't go your way, now it's a rule change. Now overtime, everybody gets a chance to win. Like, it gets to a point where, bro, what are we doing? How about you win the game? How about Jared Goff not fold multiple times? Like and y'all, and for people that are seeing guys are playing injured, Jalen Johnson has been out for the Bears for most of the season. Tyreek Stevenson was out. The Seahawks lost their entire secondary. Welcome to the NFL after week 1. Injuries happen. Breaking news. Good teams find ways to win. Eagles, Jalen Carter out. Lane Johnson, Andrew Makuba, Nakobe Dean. Tough division opponent on the road. Good teams find ways to win. And that's my little rant on that. That touchdown, I'm not even going to get into that. Like, feel free to read the rule book on, and I'm not, like, the whistle blew, like, that's not a touchdown. But nevertheless, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. DK. I want to be very clear. We don't condone violence. Should DK Metcalf have gone physically confronted the fan, who, by the way, they're saying the fan said a racial slur and called his mom something that's not that nice. No, DK Metcalf should not have gone at the fan no matter what. You can't, you got to keep your composure. You let the NFL take care of that fan. You let the stadium security take care of that fan. But this is my thing, and this is what a lot of professional athletes were saying on the internet last night. when are fans going to realize? Eventually, if you keep on trying these players, one of them's gonna lash out at you. Now there are many examples. Malice at the Palace, the Seahawks in Jacksonville in 2018, Russell Westbrook in Utah, LeBron in Indiana, Dwayne Wade in Charlotte. Like that when Isaiah Thomas, we went to the stands against the Sixers 2019. Like that, when are people going to realize that like just because you paid $500, you cannot say anything and everything? And like, bro, DK Metcalf played in the NFC West. He played in the Seahawks 49ers rivalry. He know like I'm sure he has heard everything under the sun. So for people to be like, oh, it's DK Metcalf, he just has a poor attitude. So if TJ Watt walked up to that fan and did what he did, would people be still saying the same thing? I just want to know. If Cam Hayward, if Aaron Rodgers, if anyone else on that team had gone up and did what DK did, would they still be saying, what's DK? It has to be, because DK is a bad temper. Bro, you can't, not everybody jokes about, oh, your mom this, your kids, your wife. Like, no, bro. Like, people need to understand. And once again, we're not saying what DK did was like the right thing. Once again, you let the NFL, because the NFL, the NBA, they're very good with finding out the source. Once again, their sound in the stadium picks up everything people say. I don't know if people realize that. And they'll find the person responsible, ban him. But once again, DK should not have done what he did. But when people are gonna understand, like I've never seen a player just randomly walk up to a fan and like physically confront, like, bro, just because you might not like him, like Seahawks fans, you might not like him. Steelers fans, you might think he's the new George Pickens. Like, y'all gotta, bro, you can't, not everybody plays like you play. And for the people that do he's getting paid millions of dollars. So because you're getting paid $100 million, now all of a sudden you're not human? You're just supposed to shake it off? Like, dude, I know he's a pro athlete. He shouldn't have gone at the guy. Should have let. If that was me, and I know like people say, well, you don't actually know what you would do unless you actually in that position. But if you let security handle it, you tell the NFL, you say it in the post game interview. But for people to be like, you call someone this and then you go at their family and you expect them to just go on their way, respectfully, shut up. Like it's ridiculous at this point what's happening, where fans just expect players to just like be emotionless and just go about their way. The players. But that's just I had to get that off because people I think were thinking that like I was like, yes, DK, go at that fan. Like, that's not, no, DK should not, because now he's just gonna get fined. I don't know about suspension, but because we'll find out the more details as we goes on. But DK, obviously, like, for him to do that, for any player to do that, the fan obviously says something crazy. Whenever the Sixers fan was that said something crazy to Carmelo Anthony, I think it was like 3 years ago, and then expected it to be like all fun and games until Melo gets in his face and presses him. And now it's like, no, I'm joking. I'm like, your number one fan. Like, dude, do not act tough, hide behind the money. And then when the player actually checks you, now it's like, I'm scared. Like, don't do that. It's embarrassing. And I just, bro, once again decided to get that off because people, like, for some reason, like, don't understand that, yes, maybe it's not right, but like, what at some point in time, one of them is gonna lash out at you, and then it's not gonna be, so funny. But that's just, my take. We'll talk about some Eagles Bills stuff later in the week. But hey, man, It's your boy, Philly Taco PA. We always keep it a sack. We always keep it a buck. I'm out, y'all.